What's up? I'm Drew Paul Bell, and in this video what I want to do is actually give a few tips to architecture clients on picking architects and dealing with architects. Alright, so the first rule is to pick an architect based off of his or her work, not based off proximity. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that, just because you know somebody, or they're the family friend, or your cousin, or she goes to your church, that they're going to be able to be your architect. Architecture is such a broad field. There's so many different, first of all, there's many different types of buildings, whether you're talking about building a house or you're talking about building something for your business. There's obviously that divide, right? There's the expertise somebody might have in designing a house that they won't have in designing, say, a school or a hospital, because to design either of those things requires a lot of skill and a lot of focus. It's not that easy to just switch back and forth easily between those. So just because you have somebody who's a friend who maybe designs multifamily residential or hotels or hospitals doesn't necessarily mean that they can design your house or switch from doing houses to doing your place of business. Also, you need to consider as well kind of their style, because there's a technique and a craft that architects develop over time in the way that they design and build their buildings. So if you're going to pick somebody who, say, does like a lot of modern work, then having them to then do traditional details is actually not an easy change. It's not like you can just switch from one to the other, and a lot of times it's hard to get traditional architects as well to make a house that looks modern. In the same way that there's like musicians that are, say, good at playing one particular genre, one particular type of musical instrument, they can't necessarily switch to a totally different genre and a different way of making music. Research architects based off of the architecture and off of their work, not just based off of proximity or their family friends. And so my second piece of advice is actually a quote by Benjamin Franklin, and it says that the bitterness of low quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten. Now, there's a large window within the time of within the process of architecture in which you, the client, may begin to really become nervous about the amount of money being spent on a building. But I think that this quote is really important to remember, because this is true not only for architecture, but really for just about anything. And I just think that he eloquently sums up this point as well as anybody can. And my third piece of advice for architecture clients dealing with architects is the same advice that I actually give the architecture students who follow my YouTube channel. And that is to be as clear as you can with yourself about what you want. And then you also need to be clear with your architect about communicating that same idea. All right, so what do I mean by that? For example, if you're going to look at, say, like an image of a house, maybe you go look on house.com or any kind of architectural website, and you find like a picture of something that you think is really cool. Now, just for the sake of argument, let's pretend like you think that maybe this image that I'm in, you think this is cool. Maybe you don't, but let's just pretend. All right, if you looked at this and you show this to your architect and you're like, I want something like this, instead of saying, I want something like this, try to identify what is the thing about it that you like. Instead of saying, say, is it the bricks? Is it the bricks, or is it the roughness of the bricks, or is it concrete, right? Is this something that you could achieve with this particular material? Is it something super specific, or is it like the idea and the feeling behind it? Do you like kind of the roughness about it? Do you like how it's not too polished? It has kind of a texture. Do you like the idea of the fact that it's kind of like an outdoor material that actually comes inside, right? If you can become really specific about this kind of a thing, then this is something that your architect, as the artist, can then take and integrate into the design, right? And to say something too specific though, right? To even say, oh yeah, I want brick inside. That's easy to put in, but if you can say like you like the texture, or to even be as specific as you can about what really is it about that thing that you like, then if you can identify that for yourself, it's going to help you understand better what you want, and then you can hopefully communicate that as well to your architect. An exercise that we had to do when we were in architecture school was we had to line up a bunch of models and kind of experimental fabric materials we had to make, right? We had to talk about what was it about these things that we liked. And the rule was that we couldn't say, we think it's cool. We couldn't say, we think this is cool. We had to say, what's cool about this is, and fill in the blank. We had to say, what's really cool about this is the way that it uses a bunch of straight lines, a bunch of like parallel horizontal lines, to then kind of create this horizontality about it, right? You have a way to describe it, and you have to be specific about what it is about that thing that's so nice, and identify why you think it's cool. Don't just say it's cool. If you can go through that exercise, that will help you identify what it is about the architecture that you like, and then it's going to help you communicate then that to your architect and be able to have those conversations. And as long as you can be that clear about what you want out of the building that you're going to have designed, if you can be clear about that and you can communicate that to your architect, then it's going to make the process a lot smoother. And by the way, this also goes for, I'm talking about just like textures and stuff like that, because that's immediately available just like with this video. But this also applies to things like adjacencies, right? If you want to say that maybe you're designing a house and you want to be able to watch your kids in the front yard or the backyard playing while you're preparing dinner or something, right? Those kinds of qualities. Try to really sit with that. Sit with those emotional connections, those emotional moments that you want to be able to have, and be able to be honest with yourself about those, right? And be real with yourself about what you want, because this is something where you're designing something new. Maybe if you come in with a list a mile long, right? Maybe you can't thread the needle through all of those and hit all of them, but chances are you're going to be able to hit a lot of them, right? So you got to be able to be honest with yourself about it. Recognize the fact that you do have a say in this. This isn't like the built environment that's around you most of the time, right? This isn't something where like you have to just adapt. This is something where you are changing what is being built for your needs. And so to do that, you have to be in touch with what your needs are. And not only needs, desire, right? Even what you want. It's not about just what you need. It's about what you want. Okay. So I hope this video helped. This video is actually a part of a group blog post where once a month, myself and several other architecture bloggers post about a common topic. We all pick a topic, and then we all publish our articles at the same time. So if you want to see those other articles, I'm going to link up to those all in the description down below. Those will give you a lot of different perspectives about the same topic. And if you're a client looking to hire an architect, then I think that you actually have a lot to benefit from checking out these links. So I hope that these all help. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.